Okay. Really quick, a couple announcements. While I'm doing a few reminders, can you guys drop in the chat just two things? Number one, I would love to know what one mindset around selling and sales that you would like to shift immediately. So if you think about selling and you think about sales day in, day out in your business, is there one mindset for you particularly that you would like to shift pretty quickly, like immediately? That's one thing I would love to know. And then the other thing I would like to know is what is one thing that you guys have noticed that has changed in the buy-in market? So as you're actively on social media, just running your business and marketing and promoting and talking to people and selling and launching, what's one thing that you've noticed has definitely changed? That would be super, super helpful. While you guys are dropping those in there, and then I'll take a look at them, I'm already seeing some very familiar things come through. So good news is I'm going to really adjust what we focus on this week to make sure we touch this stuff. And some of it I already have here today for you as I'm seeing you pop that in there. Okay, so a couple quick reminders. We're here today through Thursday, 1 p.m. Eastern each day. So same Zoom link, same time, today through Thursday. We might do a bonus Q&A session on Friday if you guys feel like that would be helpful. If you'd like to get in this room like this and open up and do like live Q&A coaching, we might do that if we feel like there's a request, enough of a request for that. So we're happy to do that to make sure you guys feel really good about everything you learned this week. I'm going to do a quick teaching each day this week around a certain thing, and then we're going to actually take an action from that. So I'm going to actually help you guys take what you learn and go apply it, go do it, and I'll answer your questions if you have some while you do that as well. Okay, so I want to make it interactive. I just feel like that's the way you will learn the best. I know that's how I learn best, is you teach me the thing and then show me how to go do it. Thank you very much. Like, that was helpful, right? So we want to try to do that each day this week. So just come prepared to maybe do a little bit of that. The replays are going to be available until next Friday. Okay, so if you want the replays and you want to keep them for life, we will have them for $47 to the public after we wrap up after next Friday. Otherwise, you'll have them until next Friday to watch for free at your disposal and get caught up on if you need to do that. Okay. Also, just for those of you, I know we've already been talking with some of you and you've asked about our Sales Academy program. I just do want to let you guys know that that is open. We are taking applications and new clients right now. Really, the focus in that program is to help you get to 10K months. And we're going to do that with just a few strategies. You're going to learn them this week, but we're going to help you create them and take you deep into them and then coach you and give you feedback on your content, like all of that stuff as you're implementing. The main goal in there is to really help you build mastery around selling high ticket in this economy and outside of it. And we want to help you get to a consistent 10K months in that program. It is very live. It is very interactive. There's 2 live calls a week. One with me, we are coaching and teaching, and then one, we have an implementation every week where you get to come on and you implement for an hour with my head coach, and she gives you feedback on your content, helps you tweak things. Like, it's really, really high end. Really great program. It's not a break your bank kind of program either, so that's really cool. If anyone is interested in either the application or just to have a chat about what the program would look like for you specifically, and how we might be able to help you, you can type Sales Academy in the chat. We'll come back and connect with you after, and we can answer any questions. We'll never ever invite you in if we think that you wouldn't have results or success. So we would just tell you, and then we give you some recommendations on what you could do to get to where you would need to be. We just want you to succeed. That's what makes the program so fun. Okay. I think that was it. And if you want, you guys can private DM me Sales Academy also, or just say, hey, I'd like to know more information. If you'd like to do that privately as well. Okay. Let's go ahead. Andrea, yes, I do know you mentioned that before. I will make sure I connect with you for sure. Absolutely. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive in. This is what I want to do with you guys on this session. I thought this would be really cool because I think there's going to be a lot of questions around this. And also, I think that the 2 things I'm going to share with you today have been absolute game changer for us in the past couple of years, as well as some of the $1 million companies that I am consulting with and I'm working with their sales teams. this has changed the game. These two things have literally changed the game, and most people aren't doing them. So I'm excited to kind of talk about this a little bit today with you guys. I'm going to share these two things with you. Before I share that with you, I was looking at some of the things in the chat that you guys were sort of saying, like, has changed a mindset thing. So I know some of you guys, you want to work on taking daily action. That's something that you guys, some of you want to work on. Sales feel like they take a long time, right? So like cold lead to the sale, that gap in between feels kind of long. People are more skeptical, 100%. People have less money to spend. Mindset, so separate my outcome from my CEO brain, right? Like kind of trying to compartmentalize those two things. Let's see, seeing sales as an uncomfortable conversation. People are less engaged during free workshops. Higher ticket buyers are harder to attract, engage, a lot of skepticism. People are being more discerning about what they need and want to spend money on. All of this is true. None of that, I wouldn't say any of that is false. I think that right now in the current buying market, and it's been this way for like a couple of years, people are skeptical because there's so much going around the internet. Like you don't even know what's true or what's real or what's valuable, or if people are just doing like smoke and mirrors or blowing smoke. We don't know. There's so much spam in the DMs. There's so many people just hitting you with like pitch and spam, and people are very skeptical. The other side of it is the economy, right? People are just like uncertain about what's happening and what's going on. And so people are just very skeptical about who and what they spend their money on, right? Who am I spending my money with and what am I spending my money on? And people are just taking a little bit longer to think about that. And so it feels like, God, this is hard. It's taking a long time, but it's because people have to think for a second, which they didn't have to do that before, right? Also, people are savvy. We have AI, ChatGPT. There's a lot of people. We've never had so many people online. So you can just Google something. You can AI it, throw it in ChatGPT, right? In my programs, I have clients doing that all the time. So people are savvy. They're figuring it out. They're being resourceful. And in exchange, it makes them feel like they don't need help. Or it makes them say, well, why that versus just ChatGPT or whatever? I could just keep doing that. The other thing is people are very smart. A couple of years ago, we had people coming from very high-end corporate careers, very talented people, hit the online space for the first time ever. These are very smart people, very, very smart. And so, smart people tend to think things through a little bit and take a little bit more time in making a decision. And people are discerning. So we know that this has shifted, right? We can all see that in the market. So the question, it's not about focusing on that. It's about focusing on how do we shift, how we show up in the market, and how we work with those things instead of against those things. So none of this means that sales are down. Sales are not necessarily harder. You just got to change how you're doing it a little bit. And sales are not down. They're not down. They're not impossible. None of that stuff is true if anyone is saying that. It just means we need to pivot the way in which we are selling. The way in which we sell just needs to pivot and shift a little bit, which is what I'm all about. So there's three things that we've realized we all have to be doing a lot more of, like more than we've ever had to do before. Like actually take 50% of what you're doing and get rid of it and do more, replace that 50% with these three things. Number one, we've got to deposit more reciprocity. So the way that I like to look at the market is I asked you to be here today, right? You're here right now today. And I told you I'm going to share two things with you that are going to help you make more sales and make them easier and faster. And I want to share those with you. I gave you a reason to show up today. Because here's the thing, when you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So whatever you're doing here with me right now, you said no to something else to be here. And so if we don't deposit reciprocity for people, we're not earning their attention. We don't earn their priority. And so the question is, why would they show up? Show up in your DM, show up on your workshop, show up in a conversation with you. In this market, we actually do have to earn that. And so I look at lead generation, I look at sales, I look at conversations, the way I look at an ATM or a bank account. If I don't deposit money, I can't withdraw money, right? We have to put money in the bank to take money out of the bank. And so deposit and reciprocity is really going to come down to looking at your leads in your database a little bit more in the sense of, have I done what I need to do for this particular person to know, like, and trust me? Have I earned the ask, and have I earned their priority and attention? So if I send you a DM today, would you answer it? If I sent you a DM and you saw it pop up, would you respond to it? Would you be like, oh, that's Anne, let me see what she had to say? Maybe, right? I hope you would, but if I never talked to you, you never talked to me, we didn't know each other, and I sent you a DM, you would probably exit out, keep doing what you're doing, or you'd ignore it because you have all these other people you're talking to, you have these emails, you have these, you're busy, right? And I haven't earned it. You don't know me, I don't know you, we've never talked. So back in the day, a few years ago, you didn't really have to earn all of this. You could really be like, hey, I'm super excited about a thing I'm doing, come join me. And everybody's like, sign me up, sign me up, sign me up. It's great. That is so not today, right? If you do that today with people you haven't talked to or earned that, they're like, this is pitchy. This is spammy. Don't send me stuff like this. Or they ignore you. And you're like, get it, you're seeing my stuff. How come you're not interacting, right? So the first thing that I feel we need to really do more of and a better job of is taking certain actions that create reciprocity. It actually creates a natural connection with the person that you're trying to connect with, and it has them coming back wanting to talk to you. They want to see your emails. They want to see your DMs. They want to get in a conversation. They want to sign up for your stuff. They want to do that versus you trying to get them to want to do that. Okay, so that's the first thing we've noticed is like almost non-negotiable. Across the board, sales are down if we're not doing that. The second thing is just really earning people's attention and priority. And I think what that really comes down to is top of mind content. So if you're putting any time and energy into creating content for your platforms and for your people, you really want to make sure it's exactly what those people want. Because here's the thing, you got to go back to the fact that people don't have a lot of time. Their attention spans are small, right? They're busy. They're all over the place. They're doing a million things. They're distracted. They're really trying to use their time wisely. And so when they see things coming from you, you really want it to stop them in their tracks because it's exactly what they want and need right now. And so you can't really do that if you don't get to know your people, right? Like if you don't actually connect with your audience, how do you know that the workshop you're doing next week, how do you know that that content is exactly what those people are wanting and needing right now? And so that's going to lower your engagement if it's not. It's going to lower your response rate. It's going to lower your sales. It's going to lower your conversations if what you're saying and talking about, they don't have an interest in. Or maybe they have an interest, but the way you're talking about it, they're not getting it. Like it's not clicking for them. Okay? So you have to earn people's attention by making sure that you're putting things in front of them that they're like, this is my motto. In Sales Academy, this is what I say all the time. If you are doing a free thing, workshop challenge, you're trying to get registrants, or you're trying to get applications for a program, or you're selling something. There's only 3 things I want from my audience. I'm in or I'm out, yes or no, yay or nay. That's it. That's what I want your response to be. I'm in or I'm out, yes or no, yay or nay. If you can't do that, like if someone can't make a decision without spending weeks and months and like all this time and I have a million questions, I'm not doing a very good job at earning their attention and their priority, right? Which means I'm not speaking to you properly. You're not getting it. It's not making sense for you. It's not clicking for you. There's a disconnect there. When you really build relationships with your audience and you get to know them, it's very easy to put stuff in front of them that they're like, I'm in or I'm out, yes or no, yay or nay, right? It's very easy to do because you know them like that, like a best friend, right? Like, you know your best friend's preferred coffee. You know exactly, like, do they put Splenda, do they put sugar, no sugar, is it decaf, is it, like, you know, because you know your friend. You know their favorite place they love to go dancing. You know where they love to meet you on a Friday or Saturday night, right? Like you know this about your friend because you've taken the time to earn that and build that with them. And in this market, that's what we have to do with our audience. So that when you say, hey, I'm doing a workshop, I'm going to show you how to do, 2 things that are going to skyrocket your sales, change the game for you in the sales, that you want them to be like, I'm in. I'm in. There's no question. I'm in. How do I sign up? Right? So we have to put top of mind content to get people's priority and attention. If you're sending them stuff that they're just like, nah, then you're going to drop down in their priority. It's going to make it harder for you to get their attention. Okay. The other big thing we've noticed is information all by itself, $0 value. There is no more value in free information because we have ChatGPT, because we have AI, because we have a million people doing a million things all day and sharing so much. Information is easy to access. You could Google anything, you could YouTube anything, you could ChatGPT it. There's not a lot of value in free. What's really going to make a difference is when you take your free value and you make it so people can apply it. Because what does everybody want? Everybody. We just want a result. And if you're going to say no to something else to say yes to be here, you want something out of this, right? No one just wants to hear Ann talk and teach and spew more information that you then walk away with and say, what do I do with this information? I don't even know what to do with this plus all the other information I have. So what we want to do is, yes, we're going to give some information, but we need to look at how, and this applies, guys, in your free content, but also your programs, your paid programs. You want to look at, am I helping people apply what they're learning? Like, take action. One of the biggest gaps in the coaching space, I think, even in the big 20, 30K programs I'm in, there is a lot of information. And it's a lot of do this, do this, do this, but not how to do it. It's go do this, go do this, go do this. But like, how do you do that? Like, how do I personally make that work for me? I think that's a huge gap in this industry. So I think when you're thinking about your free content and your paid content, I want you to be more interactive with people, get to know people better, and open the spaces up for some interaction so you can tailor and personalize things a little bit. I'm not suggesting free coaching. I don't think you should be doing any free coaching with people unless they're paying you, because you really need to understand all the things to really give someone proper information, right? So you do have to, there's some boundaries and fine lines there. But I do think that you want to be looking at how can I help you take what you just learned and go actually apply it so you can see it for yourself. Okay. And we're going to be doing that in this workshop so I can demonstrate that for you. Does all of that so far make sense for everybody? Just a thumbs up. Yeah. Okay. Bear was like, yes. Andrea, good. Perfect. So I'm going to share 2 things with you today, that will change the game. They have changed and are changing the game, and more people are starting to lean into it. They're starting to get it now. So I want to kind of get you guys up to speed with that. And then what we're going to do is I'm actually going to have you guys start to do some of these things. I think it's going to be really cool. And you guys can ask questions as you're doing it. I would take a little bit of notes here, but okay, the first thing that we are doing in my company, and we've been doing this for about 5 years, so it's not necessarily new. Actually, neither of these 2 things are new, but I never realized that nobody else is doing them. And so that was kind of interesting. So now it's like, oh, we need to teach this to other people. Nobody's doing this. Okay, the first one, if you've been in my space for a little bit, you're like, I've heard you talk about this before. The very first thing that I'm going to highly recommend, if I could give you guys one piece of advice, and it was the only advice I could ever give you that are going to positively impact your sales, I would tell you, build a buyer's list. Okay. It's no joke. There's nothing sexy about it, right? There's nothing fancy and fun and like glorious about it, except it makes a ton of money. That's the thing that's so beautiful about it. The number one thing I would have you guys do is build a buyer's list. Now, I've had people say, where do you buy that? You don't buy, you build. That's why I say build, not buy a buyer's list. You build a buyer's list. The buyer's list, in my opinion, it's non-negotiable. I mean, real estate agents have it, corporations have them. You know, real estate, everybody has them out in the real world that run businesses. They have a list of people. And these people, they know like the back of their hand, they know what they qualify for, what they should put in front of them. Like a real estate agent will pull up their buyers list and they're like, all these people right here want a 3-bedroom home in Southern California with 2 bathrooms and they want it. Like they know that. So when that house comes on the market, they have a list of people that they're like, hey, house is coming on the market, fit your description to the T. You see what I'm saying? Imagine how fast your sales will close if you could do that. Versus, let me open on my social media. Who could I sell to today? That sucks, right? Because it's really slow and because like it's not predictable. The beautiful thing about building a buyer's list, and building is only one part of it, right? Obviously, there's things you have to do with that list to get them to convert. But building a buyer's list puts you in control of your sales. 100%. You're not privy to like social media. You're not at the mercy of algorithm. We just got hacked and all of our Facebook and social media groups and account, all of it was just shut down. But I have a buyer's list. I'm good. I have a buyer's list. We're good. We're still closing sales. We're doing the things. We're talking to people. We're sending new requests. We have that whole list of all of our thousands and thousands of people. We have their phone numbers, emails, their addresses. Like we have it all. And we have relationships. It was very easy to just pick back up. Do you see what I'm saying? But that's a buyer's list. When it comes to selling, the beautiful thing about a buyer's list is you can pull up a list of people and say, I want everyone that qualifies for Sales Academy. I want you to pull up that list of people. You go to that list of people. Hey guys, Sales Academy is open. Here's what we got, right? Or any program. Oh, I have people that are brand new in my audience and they can't afford a Sales Academy. We should get them in our membership. They're tagged with membership. We've talked to them. We've already built the relationship. We go to them and say, hey, you should come join the membership. That's where you're going to get the value based on where you're at. And they're like, I'm in. Right? Sign me up. Versus, let me go to my Facebook group. So let me just say a couple of things with the buyers list so we understand. So number one, we're not buying it, right? We build it. Number two, it's not your Facebook group. Your Facebook group is not a buyer's list. Your email list is not a buyer's list. Your social media followers and friends, those are not buyer's lists. Those are leads. So what we teach you in Academy is take your leads from the big wide internet all over the place, email, your text numbers, your group members, your social media connections, and let's start to cherry pick those people and put them into a list. That's the start of building a buyer's list. Now, obviously, there's a whole strategy of what we need to do with them. We need to deposit reciprocity, build relationship, qualify those people, work those people, and there's steps. There's specific actions, right, that you have to take to move those people in the direction you want them to go. But you wake up every day, you start your day, you end your day with that buyer's list. You are closing sales every week. There's no way you're working a buyer's list and not closing sales every week. There's no way you're doing that. So we got to start with building that buyer's list. Does that make sense? It gets you in control of your sales, but it gets you off social media. And I'm not saying we're not on social media. We market, we grow our audience, we build communities, we do all that stuff, but pull them from there into this buyer's list and work our process to convert them. And that is what's going to change. That one thing alone will change the game. For the buyer's list, what we do in Sales Academy is we get you to your first 50 on your buyer's list. And then we want to get you to 100. We want, basically our goal in Sales Academy is everybody has a buyer's list of no less than 100 people. And I'll tell you why. Because none of us here have to have 100 buyers to hit our sales goals. So you work that list, you're getting your sales. Nobody here needs 100. So we help you build your first 100. And again, these are not just leads, these are qualified. These are potential buyers. You don't need all those sales. I mean, you can, that's great, right? But you don't need them to hit your sales goals. Then what we do is we have you what we call stack. So as you work the buyer's list, people fall off, or people come on. Some people change, some stay stuck in a place for a little bit, it's beautiful, but as long as you never stop growing it and you never stop working it, you will never stop converting it. So you will stack your sales and have consistent sales. You'll have a list of buyers. On our buyers list, we have people that give us timelines. So they'll say, January would be a great time for me to join the program. I'd love to join after the holiday. We start putting those in there, make follow-up conversations. And guess what we do? We predict our sales for the new year now. We already know, like, oh, these 20 people are coming in. So it's so much more efficient than just going on social media. And in this market, a lot of people are dependent on the algorithm to like get your content out there and get sales. Organic reach right now is flatline unless you're Gary Vee. Like the algorithm is not in our favor right now. Algorithm is not helping us. It's not helping any of us right now. So we have to drive that engagement, right? We have to like get in front of people, get that proximity. You can't rely on your content by itself because the algorithm is not in your favor. But if you build a buyer's list every day and every week, you're working those same people and you're building engagement, reciprocity, relationship, trust, awareness. And these people start stacking and buying. Okay. And now eventually I have clients that have 1,000 and 5,000 people on their buyers list. Like you can get it up there crazy. And you can also keep it around 100 and be very happy with your sales. So we really just work with you based on where you're at, but we kind of start all of our clients around that 50 mark. Like, let's get those first 50, work my process, clean it up, get some people off, put some people on, like, let's do that. And let's get you working and converting some of those. And then we stack. So then we go to 100, then you might go to 200 or 500. It's just up to your audience size and your sales goals. But that is the first thing. That's number one. The second thing that I would recommend, if I could only share a second thing with you, that I would suggest you implement would definitely be what we call and what we teach in our programs and what I do every day. And I'm a 7-figure business. I still do these two things I'm teaching you right here. In fact, everything I teach you this week, I do. Power hour. Power hour. What is power hour? So for us, this is something that I unintentionally created back when I was a single mom on welfare. I did not have a lot of time. I did not want to put my son in daycare. He was little. I wanted to be home with him, but I needed to make money. And business takes a lot of time. And so I was finding myself spread really thin. I was kind of not really being efficient. I wasn't doing all the things. I was inconsistent and all over the place because I was spreading myself so thin between trying to run a business and raise kids. And so unintentionally, I created what we now call the power hour. And it is a block of time that lives in your calendar. And it is specifically for sales activities. And I started back then doing 20-minute blocks and then 30-minute blocks a few times a day. Today, I do 1-hour blocks multiple times a day. So when I say that I work 3 to 4 hours in my business, I'm working 3 to 4 hours because I do 3 or 4 blocks a day of sales activities. The reason that these are so efficient is because how many of you here feel like you start your day, you open all your stuff, you look at everything, and you're like, oh my God, I should send an email. I know I should do an Instagram story. I should probably put a post out. Oh my God, I should probably create content. I should probably do a Canva image to go with that piece of content. And then I should probably over here. And then you know what? I should probably follow up with people and I should probably ask people to talk to me and I should probably sell something and blah, 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 right? And you're trying to be, like we said earlier in here, how do we separate sales from the CEO hat, right? We're running the business, but we also have to make sales. So you're being a CEO and a seller. All of you here are a CEO and a seller, right? I'm a CEO and a seller. So I run a business, but I also need to sell, right? Because the business has to make money. How do you compartmentalize that? And the thing is it's easier. I think everyone can agree. It's a lot easier to do the CEO stuff. It's a lot easier to be like, let me get the email, let me create content, let me do Canva, let me create an application, let me do a sales page, like let me do all the business stuff. But then when you get to the end of your day, 6 hours later, 8 hours, 10, 12, whatever it is, no dollars and cents have hit the bank. And you're like, damn, my business did not make money today. My business did not generate one sale today. And I worked 8 hours. So you're essentially working a full-time job for free. And if you do that day in, day out, again and again, it can take a big toll on you. It doesn't feel good, right? It's not amazing. And then It's just a cycle that keeps going of like, wow, I worked like a full-time job today and I didn't even make any money. My motto for you guys and why we do the power hour is because you're committing to a block of time, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever works for you, multiple times a day when it works for you. That's the beautiful thing about power hour. You could do it in the morning, you could do it in the afternoon, you could do it in the evening, you could do it in the bathtub, you could do it in bed. I do it all over. I do it when I'm walking my dog, when I'm sitting on the beach. I'm not tied here to this desk. I don't have to be right here to make money. That's the beautiful thing. But I do have to do my power hour where I'm committing to saying for 30 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, whatever, I'm doing this one activity. Nothing else is coming in while I'm doing this. So if I say, I'm going to follow up with my registrants for my workshop today, I'm going to do an hour of just reaching out and making sure that they get the replay. That might be a block of time, right? That's a sales activity. I'm following up and saying, hey, you registered for this. I want to make sure you get the replay. Let me know your questions after you watch it. I would do that activity and I would do nothing else during that time. So if a DM comes spatting in and an email comes spatting in and this that waits. It's a commitment of I'm completing this activity. Just like when I sit down for dinner, I sit at the table and I eat my dinner, right? We'll do everything after dinner. I'll do dishes after dinner. I'll do yoga after dinner. I'll take a bath after dinner, whatever, right? I'm going to sit and eat dinner right now. It's the same kind of commitment, except it's sales activity. So I'm not creating Canva images. I'm doing sales activities. I'm following up. I'm inviting people to work with me. I'm selling. I'm talking about my program. I'm depositing reciprocity. I'm nurturing. I'm working my buyers list. Every day is about the buyers list. So imagine if you built a buyers list of 50 to 100 people. Okay, I just want you to imagine this for a minute. Imagine if you built a buyers list of 50 to 100 people, and then you put in your calendar 3 or 4 blocks a day, like 1 hour blocks, let's just say, 3 or 4 hours a day. And the only thing you put in those blocks was sales activities for that buyers list. And you did that every day, Monday through Friday, again and again. You would make more money doing that than whatever you've done this whole year. I can guarantee it. You would make more money doing just that in 4 hours a day than probably anything you've done all year. Because it's such a intentional, focused activity. And the other thing is knowing the difference between marketing and visibility and sales, right? So if you're not having conversations with people and you're not depositing reciprocity and building a relationship or selling to somebody, it's not a sales activity. If whatever you're doing does not put dollars and cents in the bank when it's complete, it's not a sales activity. So I want you to think about, every time you think about doing something in a business, I want you to ask yourself, if I do this, because remember, when I say yes to this, I'm saying no to something else. So if I do this activity right now, what is the likelihood on a scale of 1 to 5, 5 being 100%, that puts money, new sales and dollars and cents in my bank account by the end of the day? That is what I do. Because it's very easy for me to be like, oh, I'm going to create this. Oh, I'm going to create that. Oh, I'm going to do this. I have a team. I have things. I'm able to do that. And it's very easy to go in that mode. But when I say yes to that, I'm saying no to sales. So if my goal is new dollars and cents every single day or week in my business, which should be everybody's goal, every time I do an activity, I have to ask myself, if I do this, on a scale of 1 to 5, how likely is it new dollars and cents will enter my bank by the end of the day or week by doing that? And I will tell you, a big chunk of those things are like 0. Like, that's not really going to help me do that. So I think sometimes we're not so intentional. The power hour helps you, it forces you, lovingly, to be really intentional with your time, right? And saying sales first. Because here's what I've seen to be true. If we push sales activities out to the end of the day, you're not doing them. I know I'm not. When I get to the end of my day, I'm ready to have dinner with my kids. I'm ready to take a bath. I'm going to do some yoga. I'm going to unwind. My brain is shutting down. Like, work stuff is done. I'm not in any mood to try to be creative and sell and have conversations once later afternoon hits. I know that between early morning and 1 p.m. or 2 p.m., my best times to get that stuff done. So you also have to be prioritizing these power hours around that so that you're saying, I know that I'm being the most, like I'm doing sales activities when I am fired up. I am the most productive in my day. Not when I'm dying down and the day is winding down and I'm distracted and I got all these, I gotta cook dinner and I gotta clean the house, and I gotta change diapers, I gotta do this stuff and like all that thing. Not the time to be like, oh, now I need to make money in the business. We do that all when we don't have that going on, so you could be 100% with your family. When I sit down for dinner, I don't want to stress out about, I didn't do this activity, I didn't close the sale today, I didn't do that. I don't want to worry about that stuff. I want to sit and have dinner with my family. And when I'm here, I want to make money. That's it, right? And you can do both. And so I have like my little power hour schedule. We just have everybody in Academy print these out. But it's literally like, there's what I do. And every day it's just check, 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 check. 3 or 4 hours, I'm in and out, make money, done. Go be with my family, go live life. And that's what I do instead of all this other fancy stuff we think we have to do. I don't have a website. I run a 7-figure business. I don't have a website. I don't do sales pages. I haven't done a sales call in 8 years. I work 3 to 4 hours a day. I take CEO week off at the last week of every single month, off, unplugged. My company is run by 3 of us, and only 2 of us are full-time. I have a small audience because I'm just this. While everyone else is like, oh, this new strategy, oh, this new trend, oh, you got to create 50 pieces of content a day, oh, you got to be on 7 platforms, oh, you have to. While everybody's doing that, I am doing my buyers list and my power hour. And I'm in and out. And it's never failed me in over 5 years. It's never failed me. It's always. And now I have multi-millionaires that are like, please teach that to my sales teams because sales are down. I don't know what's going on. So, okay. All of that to be said, those are the top 2 things. What I want to have you guys do is 1, I actually want to have you add a few people to a buyers list. Just so you can kind of see how this goes and get a little kind of idea of this. And then I want you to put some power hour sessions, at least recurring for this week. I would love to see them recurring, ongoing forever, but at least for the week of like, what can I commit to this week in terms of 30 minute or 1 hour blocks, 3 or 4 times a day for this week. Because here's the thing, if you can't commit to it this week, you're probably going to need support to stick to that. But I always say, if we can't make 1 sale, we're not gonna make 20. So let's just start with like small steps. Do we have any initial questions before we do that? I want to just kind of chat with you guys for a second. Any questions or thoughts or anything? Okay. So what you would probably need, let's do the buyers list thing first. Does that sound good for everybody? Let's do like the buyers list thing first. I have a database that I use and we teach you in Sales Academy. You're not required to use it. I love it because it's like a social seller, but automated in a system. It's amazing. But what you guys can do just to start is you can have either a spreadsheet, piece of paper, Trello board. If you use Group Track like we do, use that. Whatever it is, just to keep it really simple right now. I don't want you to worry about tech. Keep it really simple. Pick one of those ways. A Trello board, a Google Doc, or a piece of paper that you can just write on. Just grab something real quick that you can do that. And then I'll tell you how you can start to add a few people to it. If you guys can let me know in the chat when you have like a central place for a second, like doesn't need to be your forever thing. I just want you to have a thing so we can do the actual activity. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, if you guys want to drop done, perfect. Yeah, pen and paper. I love pen and paper too. I have a database, but I am a pen and paper girl. Okay. Let me just see. Awesome. Sandra, awesome. Ready? Okay. Sally and Quenisha, you guys good? You have something to just kind of write these down? Awesome, Sally. Thank you. Okay. So here's what you'll do. Perfect. Okay. Across the board, we get everybody ready to go. Okay. So here's what you're going to do. I want you to pick, I think it'd be easier if you just pick one place. So I want you to pick either an email list a Facebook group, or either a LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook profile where you have connections. So think about your main place where you're working leads. So LinkedIn, maybe you're a LinkedIn person, maybe you're a Facebook, or maybe you have a Facebook group, maybe you're an Instagram, or maybe you do a lot with email list. I want you to pick just one for now. Pick one of those places. Yep, Sally, perfect. School community should be yours. That's perfect. That's amazing. So maybe, yeah, so maybe choose your school community as the place, just to pick a place for now. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go to that place, and I want you to find 5 people that seem to be the hottest of the hottest. That's gonna look different for all of you, right? Depending, because some of you might be like, they're cold as heck, and that's your hottest. But I want you to pick 5 people. And I want you to think about these 5 people as possibly potential buyers. So these might be somebody that would be interested in my offer or working with me or my services. They might have that problem I solve. So let me give you some examples. Maybe they've registered for a workshop in the past. Maybe you've talked to them before, you've had a conversation. Maybe they filled out some kind of form or application or quiz or survey. Maybe they bought something from you before. Maybe they are on your email list, they're on your social. Maybe they are engaging in your content pretty actively. Maybe they voted on a poll. Or if you have a Facebook group, maybe they answered your member questions. I want you to find 5 people where you feel like they could be, or maybe they are, maybe you know they are, 5 people, and I want you to write their names down. And then beside their names, I just want you to mark on a scale of 1 to 5, how hot are they? So 1 being like, they're not, but I think they could be, and 5 being, oh, they definitely are. I just need to figure out how to move that conversation, but they're definitely qualified for my program, or definitely a hot lead I want to work. So like a scale, just put a 1 through a 5 next to their name. And I want you to pick 5 people. I want you to just cherry pick these 5 people and add them to your list. And then let me know in the chat when you have your 5 people. And if you need help or have questions, let me know, because we're open for that here too, if you're not sure. And I'll give you guys a few minutes to do that. Just say done in the chat when you've done that. Okay, Alessandra, you said I have a wide audience of followers on LinkedIn. I haven't really looked at them for potential buyers because, yikes to admitting this, kind of afraid to approach people one-on-one with the intent of getting them as a client. That is thank you for sharing that, first of all. That is a good point for me to hit tomorrow. Tomorrow, I want to talk about some of the mindset stuff around sales and selling. There's like some top things that are really getting in our heads and making this difficult. That is one of them, right? So many people are like, I don't want to like fish for people. Like, I don't want people to feel like I'm preying on them, right? Like I'm like trying to sell you and get you to buy my stuff. That is a very big mindset. So what I would encourage you, Alessandra, just for this exercise, don't think about the selling part of it. Think of just 5 people, even if you're like, I don't know, because I haven't engaged with them. Maybe you could just go look really fast. I call it a 5-second scan. Maybe you could just look really quick at their profile and just be like, yes or no, yay or nay, I'm in or I'm out. Like, do they look like a possible, right? Like, do they even fit? Yeah, 5-second scans, guys, really fast, right? And then just add them to your list. They might not be the potential buyers, but at least you're doing the exercise and you're seeing what this is all about. And obviously, like, if you ever come in Academy, we will help you with this, obviously. But tomorrow I am going to cover and talk about some top mindset things that are definitely going to, we want to shift them so you can close more sales. And that's going to be one of them. I can sell heartworm preventative to anyone's dog, previous life as a vet tech, but I have such a hard time selling me to others. You aren't selling you. You're not selling you. Tomorrow's going to be awesome for you. If any of you here feel that, do not miss tomorrow. We're going to totally shift that for you. You will never think that again. You will never, ever, ever think about sales the way you do today after tomorrow. Promise. My guarantee. Show up for that. We will touch on that for sure. And that is super common. So yeah, if anyone else feels like you're not sure about your audience, do a 5-second quick scan and just pick 5 people. Okay? This is more about you guys doing the activity and seeing like, oh, okay, cool. Like this is, I could do this. It's easy, right? And some of you might have some buyers on there. So we'll see. And then just say done. Oh, okay, some of you are done. Let me know done in the chat once you guys have 5 people. We have a couple of you guys done. Okay, perfect. Found 5. Yay. See, very simple. Okay. All right. Here's what I want you to do now. Does everyone operate from like a Google or a Mac calendar? Is that typically what you guys use? Okay, if you guys can open your calendar, and for this week, awesome, Quenisha, thank you. For this week, if you could go ahead and do like either a daily task starting today or recurrent, however you like to organize your calendar. If you could put in there as like a tag, just maybe call it power hour or something like that so you know what it is, and decide on a block for each day. So number one, it would be, is it going to be 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 60 minutes? And is it going to be 3 or 4 times throughout the day, and what times? So think about your schedule, right? Think about when things are crazy and chaotic versus when things are smooth and you're at your best. I want you to pick 3 or 4 blocks each day. They could be the same time or different times each day. So just for this week, let's put in power hour, pick a time length and a time block, 3 or 4 of those for the day. Switch them up and make them however you need to make them work for you for this week. That's a beautiful thing with this, is you can change it every day, every week. Right? And then let me know done when you're done in the calendar. Or when you're done with that, you can just put done and let me know. Okay, cool. We're getting a couple people done. Yay! Awesome. Very good, Sally. Awesome. Thanks for putting that in there. Perfect. Yay, you guys are crushing. Okay, so I just want you guys to acknowledge 2 things real quick. Okay, what Alexandra said, 9 to 10 p.m. every weekday this week. Perfect, done. Okay. 2 things that you guys have done so far. You've added 5 people to potential people to a buyers list. You didn't have that when you got here. Number 2, you just put a power hour in your calendar for this week that you didn't have. That is awesome. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. I'm going to give you a couple activities, and I want you to pick the ones that feel good for you for those time blocks you just scheduled. So we're going to take it further. I'm not just going to have you put that in there and then you're going to sit here all week and be like, what should I do? I'm going to give you something. You're going to pick a couple things to do. Okay? That work for you guys. That way there's no reason, right? You can't do it. So you have those 5 people on the buyers list. What I want you to do is use those blocks of time for those 5 people. Because even if they don't convert, you're learning to work the process. You're going to figure it out. You'll know by the end of this week if those 5 people are buyers or not, which is awesome. right? So here, let me give you guys a couple things that you could be thinking about doing. And then what I want you guys to do, depending on how many blocks in the time, pick something, okay? Okay, so one of the things that you could do is you could send follow-up DMs. So if you've talked to these people before, maybe you could pick the conversation back up, or you can just send a initial direct message to these 5 people, just being like, hey, right? Super excited to connect. We haven't had a chance to, directly connect yet, so I wanted to say hi, whatever. You guys can make a connection. So some of this will depend on what you've already done with these. If you haven't done anything with them, you're gonna have to nurture that. So the other activity that you guys could do is reciprocity deposits. That's what we call them in Academy, or deposit reciprocity. Either way, we like to do reciprocity deposits daily with our buyers list. So that means that each day this week, that you will engage on one piece of their content genuinely once a day, each day this week. We're not pitching, we're not selling, we're not dropping, we're engaging on their stuff genuinely. So that means not a like or a heart, but like a genuine, thoughtful comment on something that they posted or something they emailed you. If they email you, if you're on their email list, which I'm on my buyer's email list. Why am I on their email list? Why do you guys think I'm on their email list? Because when they send out an email, I reply. Hey, this was an amazing email. I'm really loving this, really great. This is actually something my clients have been doing and it works really good. Glad to see you doing this. It's just reciprocity. I am like top of mind for them, right? And when you give, people want to give back. It's just our natural human nature, reciprocity. So each day this week, you could go and you could do a genuine comment on all 5 of those people's content, their story, their email, their post. Make sure it's genuine and not like a like or heart, but like a genuine comment. That's another activity you could do. Another activity that you could do is you could put a post or an email out, or both, that is inviting people to either something free that you have going on, or that you have something paid going on, right? And you can put out something. I'm gonna recommend, if you're gonna sell free or paid, because you have to sell your free stuff too, right? Rather it's your free or your paid thing, let's do some reciprocity deposits first. Do that first. So here's what happens. I just wrapped up my coaching call today with our clients in Academy, and we talked all about proximity in your DMs and getting people to see your DMs. And we went down a list of all the things that you can do and need to be doing to get people to see your DMs. And one of the number 1 ways to get more eyeballs on your content and your DMs, reciprocity deposit. As soon as you do that, Facebook or social media algorithm, whichever platform you're on, it shows them your stuff. It puts your stuff in front. As soon as they engage, they see your DMs, they see your content. You now have a strong algorithm. Organically, it's going to fall flat. But if you go out and do those touch points, the algorithm is going to skyrocket. I have one of my clients who goes into 5 Facebook groups a day, same 5 every day. She'll go in and every day she will do 5, she'll pick 5 posts in the groups. She'll do 5 genuine comments, so 1 on each one. And she has like, I can't even remember the number. She said like her views on her Facebook profile from doing that are like 17 point something thousand. It's like, it's crazy. I'm like, wow, you did that. Her reach is insane because she's doing reciprocity deposits. When you do that, Facebook shows your stuff. The other thing is that people naturally want to do back. So what do? They go click on your profile. They send you a friend request. They start scrolling and clicking and engaging and joining your group and all the things. And all you did was go deposit some reciprocity for 10 or 15 minutes. So reciprocity deposits is the number way to boost your engagement if you're doing organic anything. And so doing that, I would say do that before you do any other activity if you're trying to get people's attention. So you can sell. I would do that last, if at all. Definitely you could get in the DM conversation with those 5 people. Either DMs or even if it's back and forth through email. If they happen to be on your email and they're pretty interactive that way, you could talk to them that way. And I would say reciprocity deposits. If that's all you did this week, you would learn so much and you would see such a difference in your algorithm and how easy sales can be. Because you really only have to be doing these things. You don't really need to be doing anything else in your business. You don't need to create content ahead of time. You don't need to have months of content created out. You don't need a content scheduler. You do not need to be creating Canva images. You don't need a website. You do not need sales pages. You don't even have to have sales calls if you don't want to. Build the relationship. It will do all the selling for you. Okay. Questions? Any questions, any thoughts, any feedback, any takeaway, anything you would like to kind of open up and share here? You can just unmute and do it or drop in the chat if you want to. If you have any questions about anything, any of those things, buyer's list, power hour, block of time. And then what I'll do each day this week too is I'll check in and I'll ask you on the calls, like, how is it going, right? You will probably see that some people close sales. Or some people are like, oh my God, 3 of the 5 are potential buyers and we're talking about my program. Who knew? Who knew, right? Paolo said, love this session, thank you. I have 3 kids under 5 running around me, but I'm saying, hey, rock star, that's dedication. That was me, like trying to make it happen with little ones, right? This is why these 2 things are so important, because you'll have more time with your kids and it'll be more focused quality time because you're not stressing about how we make in sales and whatever, right? So these 2 things are gold. Tomorrow, I want to do the mindset, a few mindset pieces, and we'll check in on how we're doing with buyers list and time blocks so far. But I want to talk about some of the mindset stuff that is coming up that prevent you from doing the activity. So you might have something that comes up. I don't want to sell to people like that. It feels mean or weird or yucky or whatever. Or maybe you're like, I don't know. I didn't know what to say in that initial DM. I felt so weird. All these things, right? Or I don't want people to think I'm selling to them. All of that kind of stuff we're going to talk about tomorrow, because if we can't change the way we think about selling, you'll never do the activities I give you, right? Because it's a mindset game. If your mind gets in the way of the activity, you're not going to do the activity, right? And so tomorrow, another thing you guys could do is come to the call with maybe mindset questions. If you have some stuff, I want you to think about, when I sit down to sell, what gets in my head? What gets in my way? What distracts me? What has me say, you know what? I know I should do this, but I'm going to go do this instead, because what are those things? And let's talk about those tomorrow on the call and shift them on the call. So when you leave tomorrow, you're like, boom, I don't have that no more. That's awesome. I don't think that way at all anymore. Pricing confidently. That is definitely a big one, a huge one. Pricing is actually one of the first things we do when people enter Sales Academy. We actually change your price. We raise it. Usually, depending on what's going on there, but yeah, pricing that's a big one. Okay, this was good. So here's what will happen. We'll get the replay out to you guys a little bit later today. You'll get all the reminders for tomorrow's call, same time, same Zoom link. Tomorrow will be the mindset stuff, but try to implement the power hour with the buyers list today, so we have some feedback for tomorrow or questions, and then come to the call with some mindset questions. And when you think about selling and making all the money you want to make, what is in the head stopping you from doing that? And then let's shift those on tomorrow's call before we dive into more strategy on Wednesday. Does that sound good for everybody? If anyone has a question, anybody needs anything, hop in the Facebook group or email me, DM me, whichever works best for you. Ask your questions, give me your updates. You're very welcome, Sally. Let me know how I can support you. I want this week to be interactive, and I want you guys to get some results and productivity. So you are so welcome, ladies. All right, I'm going to see you guys all here tomorrow. Bye, everybody.